name's Dave Adams, and welcome to the as yet unnamed Thursday edition of Nerds Wisdom. Thursday thoughts, Thursday ramblings, dribble coming out of my mouth. Who knows? We haven't got there yet, but we will come up with a name eventually. It has been announced that Black Panther will be the first Oscar-nominated Best Picture film for comic book movies. I'm not sure if I said that right. That's probably not the best way to put it. The first comic book movie to be nominated for an Oscar, I think might be better. I really want to be happy, and I am happy. I'm happy that finally comic book movies are being acknowledged by the Oscars. How does this happen in a world where you've got The Dark Knight? Where was its nomination? Come on! It was... However, congrats to Black Panther. I'm a little bit shocked, I must admit, because out of all the comic book films, it's not... Is this controversial? Is it controversial to say that I thought Black Panther was just an okay film? Thought it had a really great opening act. The first act was fantastic. Second act was okay, and the third act was a bit disappointing. It led to an overall... This is a good film. It's a good film. I just didn't think it was a great film. So I'm really surprised to see it got nominated for the Academy. The fact is, it's happened. It's broken the mold there, so that's really good. It's actually really a positive thing for comic book films in the future. So I'm really hoping that the Academy will see them as viable options. Sci-fi, horror tend to get overlooked. Comic book films most definitely, usually because they fall within that horror, sci-fi theme. And even fantasy gets generally overlooked, though there are a few notable exceptions like The Lord of the Rings and, what was it? Deepwater, Darkwater. I never actually got to see it. I'm still waiting to see it. The Del Toro. Anyway, the other thing that I thought was exciting was that in the Best Animated Film category was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And I have to say, that has been my best film of 2019. Yes, 2019. I didn't get to watch it with everyone else. I don't know if this is terribly controversial, but I think it is quite possibly my favourite Spider-Man film. I know. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, going to watch it was phenomenal. But I'm really interested because a lot of it has to do around the style of animation. Marvel really stepped out and tried to create something new with this, and if you haven't seen it, I encourage you to go see it. But be warned, I really struggled with the animation at the beginning, actually struggled with the animation at the start. The stylization was great. I loved the Kingpin as this huge, essentially he was the side of a bus. I loved all of the different, I loved the camera movements and the interactions. The style of animation was such that it was intended to be that if you stopped at any point, you could be looking at a frame from a comic book film. And they brought in this style of color, and they took out all the motion blur firstly, which kind of does have an effect on the film. But then they added in these layers, and they added in what's known as the dot printing of the old comic book films. And I think it was originally used in early comic books, and it was a way of trying to fill in and give tone and shade to characters without using too much ink. It was a way of saving money, and so you sort of get these dot pictures that appear. But also sometimes you get a bleed because you use the three colors, the three primary colors. If you got a bleed, you could see the three different colors layered, and so you see this in the film. They put that into the animation at times, and I actually really struggled because in the first instance, in the first maybe 10-15 minutes, it creates almost this 3D effect. But I thought I had walked into a 3D version of the film without my glasses. And so I'm sitting there looking around. I nearly got up and went to the front to go and ask for my glasses. When I got up and looked around, I realized no one else was wearing glasses. And I sat down and it took me a little bit to adjust. I loved it overall. I really enjoyed just the thought that went into the cinematography for it, the depth of story in Into the Spider-Verse. I mean, it is actually a complex sci-fi film. It deals with parallel universes, but does it in such a way that just goes, yep, this happened, deal with it, this is the consequences. And I liked that. I liked it just got straight to the crux of the story, which was about the characters. And Miles was an amazing Spider-Man. I loved Miles as the ultimate Spider-Man. Really great rendition, brought the characters to life. I loved the inclusion of, I loved the the inclusion of Spider-Man as a mentor, and just the different iterations of Spider-Man coming into the universe was really clever. Loved the voice acting, so much love for this film. Everything worked together, the music, the comedy, the drama, the character-centered storyline. Beautiful. I'm hoping this film gets it. But if you are a fan of Into the Spider-Verse and you are a filmmaker, I'm going to recommend this video that I saw the other day. It was really clever. Like, I loved the thinking. Even if I don't ever give this a go, I strongly recommend going and watching Audrey Amber's video on creating the style of Into the Spider-Verse. And what she does is she takes some footage that she made and she photoshops it and creates a 30-second segment that makes it look like it's from the movie. And it's just such a great way of approaching issues. I really enjoyed how she came up with she was inspired by something, it formed a question, she tried to answer the question, and she goes through this process of iteration, which is a great design process. The design thinking going on is just amazing. But look, new videos coming. I'm been working on one for a little bit. I've been trying to work on my New Year's resolution one for a bit, but I'm trying something new, giving some stuff a go, and hopefully it will pay off, and hopefully I'll have it up by Monday. If not, I'll just have another 2-minute video up, and we'll see what happens. But look, until next time, my name's Dave Adams, and you've been watching as yet untitled Thursday edition of Nerds of Wisdom. I'll see you next time. Bye.